Hi there, I'm Dylan Morrison. Lovely to have you join me for my second talk in the Desire series entitled I Want to Be Like You. In my first talk, we looked at the mimetic or imitative process that latches onto another's desire, the desire for a desired object. Such a mimetic flux eventually leads to a power struggle, firstly for the object, but latterly for the pseudo-victory over one's rival or model obstacle. This fight becomes a battle of equals, indeed of mirror images. During the height of the Northern Irish Troubles, my late friend, Roll Captain, an expert in mimetic psychology, was called in by a top police officer in the RUC for advice on the Irish conflict. After sitting and thinking for a few minutes, Roll quietly suggested lifting the top leaders of the Provisional IRA in order to have a fancy dress party at police headquarters. The provos would have to dress up in RUC uniforms, whilst the top anti-terrorist special branch officers would dress in paramilitary fatigues, including the IRA's infamous signature black balaclavas. Needless to say, Roll's host didn't agree to the idea. Politically impossible. Yet the wise old Dutchman had nailed the Irish troubles on their head. The frantic desire for victory over the other had lost sight of the original object of the desire, the little piece of land known respectively to both communities as Ulster or the North. Victory had become the new goal. The perceived power of the other was now the object of desire. Taking both sets of leaders out of their traditional roles and making them dress like their respective model obstacles would psychically disengage the whole mimetic struggle. Interestingly, 25 years later, the two warring sides have finally expended their rivalry after much bloodletting. The former Provo leaders now dress as Armani-suited politicians, sharing power with their previous unionist foes. Roll's bizarre little role play has prophetically come to pass. Some of us pick a model that is way beyond our reach, one that we desire to be like, but won't be able to enter into a monstrous doubles conflict with. This model may be a person or ideal that seems to ooze with transcendence, with otherness. One that hypnotizes us into declaring, I want to be like you. Yet this desire will always be unfulfilled, for the model is so far ahead, or rather above us, that we will never engage as equals. An example of this is the fame game as played out by fanatical fans of movie, sports or pop stars. The star in question seems to have what we lack, the missing X factor that would make us gods just like them. Yet no matter how much money or time we spend trying to get into their world, it will end up in frustration and repeated defeats. Stalkers are born in the cauldron of such mimetic transfer. The star model declares via a very well-oiled PR machine, be like me. Yet paradoxically, through their aloofness and security, they shout, keep away. The escalating attempts of the infected fan may eventually drive them to violence. I will replace. Our mass media now channels the desire for sharing the nature of our A, B, and even C-list personalities. They promise much, but inevitably lead us into a psychic cul-de-sac. Thankfully, most of us don't play the out-of-reach model game to such a desperate extent, and yet we do play lesser but equally destructive games of desire. For in setting our sights on someone or something up there, we consign ourselves to the spiral of continual defeat. The result is an ever-growing depression, a belief that I am no good. If only I was like. Can it be that much of our depression results from blocked mimetic desire? A frustrating battle to possess the transcendence of the other whom we greatly admire? Many of us find ourselves drawn to high ideals rather than model personalities. Loyalty, patriotism, morality, love, even faith itself can transmit a gravitational desire towards our searching psyche. If only we could achieve such an admired metaphysical state, then we will have won our battle for being. Amazingly, we can even set figures such as Christ himself as the transmitter of desire. The desire to be like him is the driving force of much Christian piety. Texts like, "Be ye perfect," or "mature, as your heavenly Father is perfect," or "mature," have been totally misunderstood and used to draw the religious seeker into the holiness game. It's a game open to the manipulation of others, especially those in positions of authority. They channel and encourage this desire to be like Christ. Such a mimetic game, though, is bound to fail, for there is only one Christ, and he is way beyond our ego's efforts at imitation. Such strivings to be holy, loving, sacrificial, etc., are in fact symptoms of a deeply deceptive mimetic game, birthed not in the divine heart, but in our desperation to be like the ultimate model, God himself. May this be the reason why many fall away from such a zealous and seemingly admirable religious life. The depression that stalks such pious efforts eventually does take its toll, as our skewed desire center gives up in Jesus to find another, more attainable model, one that we can emulate. So how do we escape from such a desire-filled and driven life? How do we detach from our obsessive vampire-like hunger for the being of others? We'll address these important issues in my next talk in the series.